Hi, this is Dan. Good morning.
Hello, Dan. This is Vlad from WBAI Radio. I'm calling on behalf of Ken Davis. Can I transfer you to on air board and put you on hold?
Please do.
Yes, thank you.
Good morning. Just wanted to make sure we got everything here for you guys. Radio interview. Not sure what's going to happen. I love it. Spontaneity. We'll see. Linear questions, like for Ralphie, because I just tend to go off on my own little tangents, you know. And then it's not as applicable for the general population, you know. But when I have questions that are more related to epic.
For today's program, I want to.
Hello?
This is Dan. This is Dan.
Hello, Mr. McDonald. You're here?
What? Who is this?
WBAI Radio. Is this Mr. Dan McDonald?
Yes, it is.
Yes, fine.
Number of DVDs, including Dan's favorite raw recipes. Go raw, stay raw. For either DVDs or at $100 site support for WBAI for either of those DVDs or at the $100 level, or if you want to receive all 4 of those DVDs, you can do that for a
Hello, Mr. McDonald. This is your day.
I'm still here.
Yes, hold on.
seek your support. Many of you may be tuning in for your regular. We'll be back with you tomorrow. On today's program, we're going to be featuring Dan McDonald, and he is famous, really, to many of you as the Regenerator, and you might have known him or seen him do his work on the internet. And we're going to have an opportunity to go today. So I'm going to go directly to our guest and welcome you, Dan McDonald, to WBAI.
Hi, this is Dan.
Yeah, so nice to speak to you. I have been so enjoying your DVDs, and it's wonderful because you get such joy out of working with food, out of showing the benefits of raw foods. And I'd like to start today's program with you sharing with people what some of these benefits are. I know that a lot of people are sick and are not making that connection to the food that they might be eating. And I'm wondering if you can make that connection for them.
Well, I have a question for you. Can I ask you,
Yeah.
who am I speaking with?
This is Kathy Davis.
Well, good morning, Kathy.
Good morning. And you're over WBAI Radio in New York City. And WBAI is a non-profit, listener-supported radio station. We're doing our fundraising, and you are live on the air, about to speak to our listeners who are going to be supporting our radio station by making a donation of support to WBAI, and we're going to gift them with your DVDs. We're asking them to make a pledge of support of $100 to support WBAI, and they can choose from either of 4 of your DVDs, or they can receive all 4 for a $1 a day pack of $365, and they'll receive all 4 DVDs. And the DVDs we're featuring is Dan's favorite raw recipes, Go Raw, Stay Raw, Lose 1 pound a day the healthy way, and Raw Kitchen Essentials. So they'll have all the tools that they need to transform their life. And why I want to have you come on and speak to us is because you're the inspiration. And I think that you do that almost for a living, I would say, is inspire people to transform their health and eat in this healthy way.
I think that was my overall intention. I saw a lot of information, but I think that information without inspiration is not exactly useless, but sometimes sits on the back burner. So I prayed many years ago, and I said, Lord, make me an inspiration. Because that's what this movement, the raw food movement, if you want to call it that, which is the oldest movement in life, by the way. Every living organism on the planet has eaten raw foods since the beginning of the planet, and no other animal that I know of has ever heated up its food before it put it into its mouth. So I thought that's very interesting, perception. And so I've found that the raw foods can help you to wake up to nature's ways, and particularly in this world, nature's ways of healing our bodies by simply returning to a more natural way of living.
Absolutely. And can you speak on some of the health benefits of just eating the whole natural food? I know a lot of people who pop vitamins all the time, but they're not really eating very healthy. And I feel that sometimes it would be more useful to just get the nutrients right out of the food itself. Can you speak to that?
Well, there'll be an understanding coming in the near future, and the nutrition will actually become secondary to the energy. Nobody ever wakes up in the morning and says, "Oh, I wish I had more niacin," but everybody wakes up in the morning and says, "Oh, I wish I had more energy." And that's really the biggest benefit of the raw food diet. It's a huge energy payoff, because these fruits and vegetables are supercharged with life energy, electricity, particularly the fruits and the herbs, and as well as the soaked nuts and seeds. They are charged with life energy that enhances the function of the nervous system and also energizes the cells in the body. What we have with all the sickness is clogged up bodies, clogged up cells that can't breathe. I refer to it as the lowered cellular respiration. When we eat the fruits and vegetables, which is what my particular message is, my message is fruits, vegetables, and love. And then as a joke, I say you don't even need the fruits and vegetables, but they're extremely helpful, because love is really the underlying mission. But love comes from nurturing ourselves and nourishing ourselves properly. We've got a society that is so clogged up, so backed up, and so full of it. People can't poop. They've got lymphomas. They've got cancers, lung cancers, heart cancers, lung cancers, brain cancers, colon cancers, all because the foods that we're eating are not very beneficial to the body, because they leave behind so much residue when eaten. Let me ask you, what's going to leave more residues in the cell structure of your body, pizza or an apple? Apples are going to energize, go through the colon easily, provide minerals, antioxidants, vitamins, living water, living fiber, and it's going to pass through the GI tract really easily, so it energizes the cells and doesn't leave behind a pile of metabolic waste for the body to deal with, for the lymphatic system and the blood to deal with. When you eat simple fruits and vegetables, you get energy, but it doesn't stick to your body. So that's why I just promote fruits, vegetables for the detox phase, and then in a building and maintenance phase, we bring in the nuts and seeds. And you could live on a raw diet and never eat the same thing twice. It isn't just carrot sticks and celery. I've got millions of recipes, and I make them up as I go along. And it's not boring. It is so much fun. And then when you get the health benefits of the weight loss, better skin, your brain, it becomes maximized. You start to go to levels that are unexplainable of awareness, consciousness. Your whole spiritual life changes, and you wake up in the morning just excited to live. I woke up this morning excited to live.
And I think that's the one thing that people sometimes don't even know that they're missing. They just waking up with their aches and pains, and even starting the day with a level of fatigue. And I think a lot of that, as you said, has to do with the whole system being blocked and stuck and really undermined by the diet itself. How did you come to, I understand that you were a bodybuilder, and from what I know about bodybuilders is they're very heavily into needing protein and stocking up on eggs and meats. And so how did you come to understand that you could still be a bodybuilder and have all the strength you need by eating a raw foods diet?
Well, what's interesting is the day that I found out about raw foods is the day that I quit bodybuilding. I was about 200 pounds and ready to compete in a competition, and I read about raw foods, and a light literally came out of the sky, surrounded me, filled me, and told me, this is what you're supposed to do. Drop this other junk, start eating raw foods now, clean, detoxify, regenerate your body, and share this with the world. Because I had drinking wheatgrass and carrot juice before, during my workouts. And I would have such better workouts when I'd have the wheatgrass. And then, once I read this little book 11 years ago about raw foods and fasting, then I understood why I felt so much better when I drank the wheatgrass and went in to have a workout, and I'd have twice as much power, twice as much endurance. Well, it all clicked, and I just quit bodybuilding. Now, I've been able to keep on weight over the years with the soaked nuts and seeds, different types of recipes, coconut almond yogurt. But right now, I am in a detoxification mode. It's a detoxification and spiritual regeneration. I'm in a house by myself in Southern California. It's about 90 degrees here, and I've just been eating grapes and watermelons and green vegetable juices and just meditating. So the bodybuilding took a back seat. But I do know a lot of bodybuilders that are raw vegans. I have a friend who's incredibly strong, 60 years old, and he's as stronger than anybody that I know that's even half his age. And he's been on the raw for 37 years. He taught me about the nuts and seeds and the seed cheeses and whatnot to get the amino acids. In this world, we have this illusion that the human body needs protein. Well, protein is not very well utilized by the body, but the amino acids in fruits, vegetables, and nuts and seeds are used by the body to build our own protein structures. So animal protein in all of its forms is a very inefficient way to get the amino acids that your body needs for cell repair. The main thing that I see with the people, I work with people with every kind of disease that you can think of. And about 80% of the diseases out there are caused by an excess of protein, because we've been bombarded by the protein peddlers, and the medical community still doesn't realize that what causes true sickness. So if there's a sick person with neurological disorders and they say you need more protein, it's really the protein that caused the neurological disorder in the first place, because protein, excessive protein that doesn't get digested and removed from the colon and the body itself,
rancidifies and putrefies, and then the viruses and the bacteria take over the human body. Now, it's not the viruses and the bacteria that are the problem, but it is actually the excrement of the viruses and the bacteria that are highly acid forming, causing the destruction of the nervous system and the body odors that are, intolerable. If you go into the bathroom after somebody that's a big meat eater, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's death. If you go into the bathroom after someone like me, you go in there and goes, it smells like papayas in here. You know what I mean? So there's a big difference. And the rotten and putrid rancidifying proteins is one of the biggest issues in today's world. And people are still buying into the protein myth. It's ridiculous. You need amino acids from fruits, vegetables, soaked nuts, and seeds. And the primates that are closest to us, they eat maybe 1 to 2% animal protein in the form of a rodent, maybe some eggs every great once in a while. But to eat 30 to 40 to 50% of your diet from animal flesh or animal proteins, that's the quickest way to get sick in this world. So if you're going to eat meat, eat it raw, for crying out loud, so that at least you have some possibility of digesting. Don't even get me started on the cooked fats and what that does to the lymphatic system and the breast cancers and the brain tumors, etc.
Well, that's an interesting idea. Someone did ask me when I was preparing for today's show that would you consider like sushi raw food? And I'm surprised to say that you would recommend that people do eat meat raw, because the usual convention is that is a dangerous thing to do.
Yeah, well, there's two sides of it. I mean, really, I really, at this time, in the deepest part of my being, as a spiritual person who does no harm to life as much as possible within reason, I don't recommend animal products. I don't think they're absolutely necessary. And there are certain cases, though, where animal products can be used as a form of medicine. I have an infinitely contextual mind, and I'm not anti anything. So I don't really recommend, because I work with people that are mostly sick or trying to regenerate themselves spiritually. That being said, at least raw meat is partially digestible. You got to think that a true carnivore has not only a 12-foot GI tract, we have a 32 to 36-foot GI tract, but they also have 10 times the hydrochloric stomach acid that we do. So we never really truly break down. And then when you cook meat and create a chemical bonding with heat, it's even harder to digest. And the animal fat is very, very difficult on the lymphatic system, leaving behind all kinds of residues in the body. So I don't really recommend animal products. I think that mankind in the future is going to see that nothing needs to die. That being said, I don't bandstand and grandstand for veganism or tell people that they're wrong or put anyone down or judge anyone for anything ever. I just have my own particular way of seeing things at this time, and it's all tentative, and I'm willing to keep my mind open for sure at any time. I've read stories from every side of the block, and there is no right or wrong. And every once in a while, meat can be a useful tool in different contexts, and even in the spiritual path. So there's a lot to this for sure.
Right, and you were mentioning that you were in a detox mode, and I am wondering if you can let people, as we finish up this first segment, if you could talk to people about fruits and vegetables as a mechanism for cleansing and detoxing their cells.
Sure, this is my specialty here. Fruits, I believe, are the highest cleansing foods. Fruits, fresh, organic fruits are brain and nervous system foods. Fruits also to help to break up stagnant lymph. Most people have very stagnant lymph from the overuse of antibiotics and the cooked heavy foods, which create a very thick and viscous lymphatic system. Fruits help to break that up. The fruit acids help to break that up, while the sugars in fruits energize the cells of the body. Okay, and then the next thing that I like to use is leafy green herbal vegetable juices to alkalinize the blood, to alkalinize the fluid. Again, we're alkalizing, detoxifying for cellular regeneration. Acidosis is congestion, which equals pain. So there's over acid in the human dietary with the bread and the grains, acid forming, meat, eggs, milk, acid forming. Most cooked foods tend to lean on the acid forming side, unless you're talking about like steamed broccoli or steamed asparagus, which still have an alkalinizing effect. So I like to use the fruits to energize and flush, while also using the green herbal tonics like cucumber, celery, spinach, cilantro to alkalinize the blood, to antioxidize the heavy metals and the acid waste. We need to neutralize acid waste with the alkaline minerals in fruits and vegetables so that we can neutralize that acidity and wash all the acid crystals out of the joints, out of the brain cells, out of the organs, glands. The liver's clogged up from too much fat and too many poisons. The kidneys are clogged up from too much meat and starchy carbohydrates. We need to flush those out with cucumber juice. Watermelons are excellent for the kidneys. I also practice herbology, using herbs to help to inspire cellular movement and activity. So really what I'm doing right now for myself, my favorite program for anyone who's sick is a real balanced program, and that is heavy on the fruits and heavy on the green leafy vegetable juices. Those are my two favorite healing foods. And after that, I use smoothies for convenience and salads for party time. And with that, you'll break the body down, you will get thin, and your body will break itself down to a frightening degree in order to clean itself out. But once your organs, glands, and tissues are clean and regenerated, you will put on weight again, your skin will shine, your eyes will be bright, your hair will be thicker and stronger, and you'll bounce around on this planet like Mary Poppins, so happy and so joyful. You'll want to spread this message to as many people as you can. Raw foods, fruits and vegetables, a detoxified and regenerated body, so that you can do the work of serving your fellow man.
Thank you so much, and I think that I've been looking at your some of the DVDs that you provide, and we're offering to our listeners the Lose 1 Pound a Day, The Healthy Way, which was one of my favorites, but I also really loved the Favorite Raw Recipe DVD. It's almost as if you're in love with the food. It's just so amazing to see you make these combinations, and we can really see that it's not hard. So even though we're talking from the perspective of cleansing and being healthy, I think that these are useful tools, not just for losing weight, but for regaining one's health. Don't you feel that to be the case?
Definitely regaining one's health. We should talk about how the Pound a Day program actually, it was inspired by clients of mine that hit it hard, and then they were like, hey Dan, this is how much I've lost. And I'm like, 40 pounds in 40 days? 80 pounds in 80 days? 95 pounds in 90 days? I'm like, whoa. And then I would interview them and got the idea for Lose a Pound a Day, and people are doing it left and right.
Beautiful.
It's amazing.
Beautiful. So I want to thank you for joining me for this segment. We're going to call you back at the top of the hour, and we're going to go into it a little bit more. I'm really interested also in making that connection that you make between the food that we eat and our spiritual being and our connection to nature, and how that can be heightened and purified based on the quality of our diet. So that's what I'd like to pick up with you when we come back at the end
Excellent.
of the hour.
That's my favorite part of this whole thing right there, is illumination through raw foods.
Okay, thank you so much, and we'll be back in
Thank
a
you,
moment.
Kathy.
I'm going to play a little bit of music for you and a clip, and then we'll be back, and I need to ask you to support WBAI. Remember that number to call is 212-209-2950. You can choose a DVD at the $100 level or pledge for all four at $365, which would really just amount to $1 a day to transform your life. Stay tuned.